Welcome to the Thrifty Moms DIY. Today we're going to be going over how to fix a hole in your drywall, a hole that I accidentally created and not my kids, as you would assume. So it's really simple, just a couple of steps. Check it out. Here are some of the items you'll need: a spackling knife, a knockdown knife, painter's tape, a plastic bag, primer paint, knockdown texture, and spackling. Here's a picture of the hole that I'm going to be repairing today. It's pretty small, 1/4 of an inch, perfect for spackling. As you get larger, you really need to check and see if spackling is the right application, but in this case, it'll work perfect. The first step to prepare your surface is to make sure it's clean, there's no debris in it, and there's no fuzzy stuff hanging off of it, which sheetrock can have. The next step is to apply the spackle. I start out with a small amount and then slowly work my way around the hole, making sure that the edges are smooth and that everything's covered. Here's a time-lapse video showing how the spackle went from pink to light pink to white. Once everything is dry, the next step is to go ahead and sand your spackling. Depending upon how much you applied, you may have to sand more or less. Ours was pretty light, so a quick sanding did the trick. The knockdown texture bottle that we have has an applicator that lets you do a heavier or a lighter setting. We needed the medium setting because our texture is pretty light, but it's still there. So definitely test it out, see where you need to be. When you apply your knockdown texture, you want to make sure and do it in short bursts so that you can control the amount that's going on there. It's really easy to put it on. It's a little difficult to get it back off if you do too much. So I just do short bursts to try and control where everything goes. Once your knockdown texture has dried, it's time to go ahead and use the knockdown knife. It's basically just a plastic knife with a foam tip. The bottle that I use says to wait between 4 and 8 minutes. I found that about 6 minutes gives me the right amount of texture to work with. I hold my knife at about a 15-degree angle, not exact, but that's just what it seems to me, and I just make light passes over the knockdown texture. You don't want to totally smooth it out or else you totally negate the whole use of the knockdown texture, but you do want to get out the bubbly kind of look that the knockdown texture has when you first apply it. Using this knife creates that nice uneven texture that you're looking for. Once the knockdown texture dries, it's time to go ahead and prime. If you have a paint and primer combo, you can skip this step. I don't, so I needed to use some sort of primer beforehand. You can use either a liquid primer or you can use a spray paint primer. I went ahead and chose the spray paint. I probably wouldn't choose it again, basically because it stunk for about 2 or 3 days afterwards. Once the primer has dried, it's time to go ahead and prep the area for painting. I take down all of my plastic and then I go ahead and give one more light sanding around the area to make sure that there's no clumps of paint or anything else that would get in the way and disturb the look I'm trying to achieve. The final step is applying your paint. I went ahead and used a brush with paint that I already had that matched the color that was on the walls. If you don't have the color already, you can color match it at your local paint store. In hindsight, I wish I would have used a roller because I had ended up having to do 2 coats, but either way, it came out great. As you can see, the hole is completely gone. The knockdown texture flows seamlessly into the existing knockdown texture, and the paint just pulls it all together. Thanks for watching today's tutorial on how to fix drywall and use knockdown texture. Like and subscribe to see more videos by the Thrifty Moms DIY.